What's up guys, today we're going to show you the power of being able to walk away and how it can absolutely supercharge your text game. Alright, so in this video we're going to be breaking down a pretty advanced technique, which is basically showing the girl that you're willing to walk away, and you're going to see exactly how this manifests over text. And this can be a massive ace up your sleeve, especially when you're messaging those hard to get girls, the ones who are playing games or ghosting and flaking, right? Those girls that just seems like, wow, like this girl will not meet up with anyone for any reason. This can make the difference between you getting a date with this girl and you getting left on red. And you guys are going to see exactly how this plays out. So let's start off with one of the interactions that you're going to see. I'm going to show you the whole thing from start to finish. You're going to see how this guy was able to get a date and actually sleep with this girl because he was willing to walk away. But first, let's start off at the very beginning. So you can see this girl's gonna be playing hard to get right from the start. He opens her, hey trouble, she doesn't respond. So he double texts her and says, you look like the right mix of fun and trouble. Now, actually, I don't think this is a really good, re-engagement text because he already said trouble. I would have just said like, are you always this talkative? Also, it's funny to see that his phone is on like 1%. She's like, hey, I was gonna respond with something witty to that first one. Sorry, I forgot. Not even gonna not being trouble, huh? Probably not, lol. So this is one of the mastermind guys. So here he was kind of doing it on his own, and then we started helping her a little bit. He's like, yeah, I could see it in your eyes, and she doesn't respond. Waits a few days and double text, right? So pushing a little bit, and the worst text her word goes to. It's a pretty good re-engagement text. She says, hey, I'm sorry. If you want me to stop trying, I can. Okay, not the correct takeaway here, but it's fine. Sorry, I just get on often. How are you? So in a situation where a girl says, oh, I don't use this app often, I don't get on often, what you want to do is just simply move her to text or to WhatsApp. Fucking amazing. Just had a wild vacation. Shoot me your number before you disappear. Okay, it's acceptable. And she doesn't respond, right? So he re-engages with yo sexy. She says, that's me. Notice how she's being very, very low investment, right? Again, these girls are very common. Typically, the hottest girls on dating apps will be these low investment chicks. I don't usually match with good innocent girls like you. You seem super sweet, but I tend to match with more adventurous girls with a wild side. Again, there's a little bit of a cringy, like cold read, but whatever, it does the trick. She says, LMAO. Oh, how adventurous are you from 1 to 10? Full 10, you'd be surprised. How so? Only one way to find out. So she's basically setting it up for the date. He says, I'm just hoping you find out that you have one of my weaknesses. Well, I'm hot and blonde, but that's relatively short, so there's that. Well, there's one benefit to you being short. What's that? Are you sure it's a bit R-rated? Wow, not just PG-13, hit me. So here, because again, he's already been trying to get her over to text. She hasn't complied, so he's taking a more sexual angle. Sometimes texting is like literally throwing darts at a dartboard. One strategy doesn't work, you switch over to a different one. You just try different approaches until you finally hit one that sticks. That I could throw you around, dominate you easier. Seems pretty mild for R-rated, but okay. Don't tempt me, I'll have to discipline you. Don't threaten me with a good time. I bend you over my lap with a cloth wrapped around your mouth. Okay, that's an interesting approach. With your hair gripped by my one hand and paddle in the other, and your hands handcuffed behind you. Okay, he's got the right idea, although I think this sexting could be a little bit better. I don't know about the cloth part. She says, what for? Just because I felt like it. Oh, well, in that case, it's okay if you can't handle it. That just sounds like a challenge. You talk a big game about handling, I wouldn't worry. Not because my first thought was that's cute. Can you handle it, right? So, okay, so there's a little bit of friction going here. You're confident for a little girl. I'm intrigued. I get that a lot. What else do you get? What I want. Didn't realize you're attracted to mostly pussy men so far. So this is an interesting strategy he's taking here. She says, oh, yeah, you demonstrate similar characteristics as someone who meets below par guys, no offense. Now this is actually a cold read that will apply to most girls because the vast majority of girls, especially if they're on a dating app and they're single, they're under the impression that most of the guys they meet are, below par. Because if that wasn't the case, they'd probably be in relationships, right? They wouldn't be on dating apps. So you're pretty safe to send this text to most of the girls that you meet on dating apps. I mean, you're not entirely wrong, but what makes you think that? Because you're on a dating app. The way you talk, your eyes, the way you position yourself in your pictures, subconsciously or consciously, what about those things makes you think that? Tell me first, am I right or am I right? Large majority of them, LMAO, yes, big surprise. It all makes sense now. You plan on explaining it. And trust me, we're going to get to this part, but I want to give you guys all the preface so you can see exactly how this plays out. You know exactly what I'm going to tell you. Let's hear it anyway. Positive, definitely. Here it goes. So here, this is a massive text he sends her. I'm personally not the biggest fan of like long messages like that, but this can actually work. I've seen it work time and time again. Here it goes. You're a girl who is quite feminine, submissive, don't tolerate pussy men. You test a man to make sure he's dominant as he claims to be. You want a man who can take control and is always decisive and knows exactly what to do. You want a man who can dominate you in bed, choke you, pull your hair, spank you, face fuck you till you pass out. I'd slap you to wake you back up, and the first thing you feel is my dick in your mouth. all of this only if we have chemistry. But it doesn't mean you being at the giving end all the time. You want a man who can go for hours eating you out and makes you squirt, who's as kinky as you are and can see past the innocent face and see you for the real you. And this is, again, in text, it's going to apply to most girls, especially if they're kind of being bratty, which this chick is. I might like tone down on some of the whole like slap you stuff, but other than that, it's going to be a text that most girls are going to resonate with. She says, close, I've never heard I have an innocent face before. Who do you believe? That's an excellent question. You know the answer to it. And she says, well, I must have truly improved my resting bitch face, I suppose. Now here is where we start showing the power walking away. So this guy was like, hey, what should we say next? So basically what we told him is, hey, actually leave her on red and don't respond, right? So like show her that like, you know, you've already invested a lot. Now pull back a little bit, right? And here it works well because she double texts, says, what are you up to today? So he says, hanging out on my romantic patio with a glass of wine, and you, jealous, I'm at work all day. What makes the patio so romantic? You mean besides the roses I've laid out and the harpists I hired? Yeah, besides that, my presence, of course. She says, well, the tuck's not negotiable. Well, will you wear dealer's choice? You'll wear a short black satin dress that shows off your smooth legs, hits at the seductive shape of your ass. There we go. I have plenty of those. Perfect. Shoot me your number. And here's, you're going to see how this really plays out. She says, tempting, right? And so, again, we tell him, don't say anything, right? Like, show her that you're willing to walk away so he doesn't respond a few hours later. She gives him the number, right? But again, if he had kept chasing her, if he's like, oh, well, why is it tempting? Or why don't you want to do it, right? Bam, you'd be right back to the whole, you know, situation he was in initially. So, yeah, once you've kind of invested a lot, once you've demonstrated value, and once you kind of got the girl intrigued, I think is the best way of putting it. Like, once the girl is somewhat invested and intrigued in the conversation, that's when you can start showing her that you're willing to walk away. And again, you're not actually telling her, hey, I'm willing to walk away, blah, blah. You know, that'd be really cringe. You're doing that by simply like kind of like this, which is simply not, you know, engaging when she's giving you a lukewarm response like that, you know, you guys both know that she can do a lot better. Now you're going to see also other ways that this can play out. So anyway, so we get over text, hey, it's X from the thing, hi, love the enthusiasm. So again, that's another way of showing that you're willing to walk away. It's kind of using like kind of takeaways like that, tired, long day at work. One of my famous massages will heal you right up after this week. It might take more than one. As long as you're a good girl, you shall receive. I'm not a fan of being good. I'll just pay a professional. So again, she's being a little difficult here, so we tell him, don't respond, right? And here's what happens. This one takes a little bit longer, this takes 24 hours, and bam, she re-engages and she says, you have a snap. Now, who's starting to chase who? Notice how in the beginning of this dynamic, it really seemed like he was the one chasing the girl, but now tables are starting to shift, and it looks like she's the one that's texting, you know, kind of chasing him a little bit. So he says, yes, blah, blah, blah. She says, okay. And then she says, you're a terrible texter, because I guess he didn't respond to her on Snap. So we tell him to say this, yeah, anyway, what are your plans this week? Work all day, all night. So this is actually very good because he's not justifying himself. A lot of guys would make the mistake of being like, oh, I'm not a terrible texter, I was actually just busy, but like, here I am, ha ha ha. Right? That's not what you want to do. You never want to justify yourself because logically, she's the one that's being mostly the bad texter so far. Basically, I've got today off on Sunday, but I'll be driving all day on Sunday. Let's meet tonight then, feel spontaneous, always do, perfect. Let's spill a bottle of wine on my romantic patio. That's not very spontaneous at all. So she's here, she's just playing hard to get again. Hold your enthusiasm. I still have to see you if you're cool before anything spontaneous happens. Fair enough. I'm pretty sure it's a good rule of thumb to never meet a stranger at their house though. Stranger danger, I presume. Oh, definitely. No worries. I gave up killing for Lent this year. Oh, thank God. So that's a really good way of like addressing that. I'm a little worried too. You might be a 300-pound guy. We can meet outside for a few minutes first. No expectations. LMAO, you've seen a picture. What city you in? Blah, blah, blah. And you, here, just logistics. Perfect. They'll give me some time to pick up wine. Do you like red or white? So you can see here he overcomes the stranger danger concern. So that's a side note. That's one good way of doing it. You say stranger danger, and then you basically show like, oh, don't worry, you know, like I'm actually a little concerned too. That's why we're going to meet in public. That's why we're going to like, you know, that's why we're going to feel out the vibe both. So basically, you're taking her objection, making it seem like it's your objection. White, I got some stuff that I got to handle at home first. I know a great Chardonnay. Cool. I have some work to finish too. How does 8:45 sound? I might have to push it. It's an hour drive. What time are you thinking? I'm not sure. I still have to shower and go see my grandmother. I think my Colorado trip may fall through on Sunday, so it's probably free though. Sorry, I was with grandma. You can call again. So I guess here he calls her. I'm running behind. How about you leave blah, blah, blah. So here she gives the address. Here she gives her logistics. Here's just logistics. And then I guess she comes over. They have sex. She says home safe and sound. Good. Tonight was fun for sure. all sorts of bruised. So again, you can see that, bam. And because he was basically willing to walk away, he was able to get the date and hook up with her, right? But again, if he wasn't willing to show that, right, I guarantee you this would have not led to a date, right? Because the girl would have just kept playing games over and over again. So that was one of the guys in the mastermind. Now I'm going to show you one of mine. This is one of my older ones, but you're also going to see how this can play out a little bit more directly. So in this way, you're going to see a different method of showing the girl you're willing to walk away. Again, it also has to be very contextual. So I'm not going to start at the very beginning. You can see the full lay report on the website. It's all available there for free. There's about 50 screenshots before this. I was basically this girl is just playing all kinds of games and whatnot, right? But I'm picking it up where it kind of gets interesting, where this lesson starts to really apply. So anyway, so me and this girl have already been going back and forth for a while. I say, what are you doing tonight? I don't know, did you change your phone? I'm like, yeah, iPhone 7 motherfuckers. You can tell how old this is because it's iPhone 7. I have like an iPhone 13 now. Haha, you should have waited for the iPhone 8Z. I'll be free after 8. You should swing by for a drink. She says, pass, right? Okay. I say, figured you were the boring type. I tried, right? So again, hit her with a little bit of a takeaway. It's just that I have to rest today. I can next week. All right, grandma, I'll be free Monday evening. And then she doesn't respond. So on Monday, I re-engage her. Hey girl, happy Monday. She says, oh, Ryan Gosling. I say, yeah, my alter ego, really? We can meet up tonight and you'll find out. Oh, and what about, where do you live? I say, Hollywood. This was when I used to live in LA. She says, for today, I go out at 9 p.m., huh? I go out of work at 9 p.m. Okay, same, swing by 10. Same, you go out by 9 p.m. I work from home, but yeah, that's when I finish usually. Man, I'm still at work. So I say, just finished, want me to call you in 6? She says, what? Are you still at work? I'm still doing work. I say, lame, right? So you can see a pattern here for being kind of flaky. She says, sorry. So here, again, I do the same thing that the guy in the previous interaction did, which is I just don't respond, right? I just ignore her. And then she says, we can meet later. So she texts me the next day. I say, yeah, I'll be free after 8. She says, cool. I say, what time are you thinking? Nothing. Why? Are you thinking of something? So sometimes these girls are just so difficult. I'm like, oh my God, I'm asking what time are you free, silly? Oh my God, I didn't read that 8 p.m. What are we doing again? Having a drink on my rooftop, swing by around 9. Can I be there at 8:30? Yeah. So where do I go? I give her my address, and here's where things get really interesting. She says, I became lazy, ha ha ha. So she's about to play her usual game. So here, I just draw a hard line. I'm like, good luck. Your lack of respect for my time is a turnoff, right? So here I'm very clearly verbalizing that, hey, I am willing to walk away, right? And again, that gives you a massive amount of power, right? Because most guys are not willing to walk away, right? Most guys are so needy and so desperate, they'll put up with anything and everything, right? And look what happens next. She says, okay, I'm sorry. I say, final chance. She says, okay, I'll go. I'm waiting for Uber, KK. I'll be there 9 o'clock. Cool. So here we just see logistics, and bam, the girl comes over and wind up hooking up. But again, if I did send her that text, if I was just like, oh, it's okay, we can do another night, right? You could imagine that she would just keep playing this game and ultimately it would fizzle out, nothing would happen. So again, this is kind of a more advanced thing because on this channel we talk a lot about being persistent, right? Kind of following up with the girl, maybe sometimes double texting if she's not responding and maybe a few days have passed. But this is the counterbalance to that. In addition to being very persistent, you also have to be not needy. And the best way of not being needy is being willing to walk away, both mentally, right? Like you have to be mentally come to the terms that, hey, it might not work out with this chick and that's okay because there's more options out there. Like she's not the only girl out there. And you can also see how basically this will manifest in how you text the girl, which is gonna be, again, you either not responding or like if the girl keeps fucking up, literally saying like, hey, this is your final chance. I don't like the fact that you're disrespecting my time. But obviously it has to be done in a not butthurt way. It has to be done also very contextually. All right, hopefully you guys found this video valuable and you can show me that you're willing to walk away, but not really because I need you here. So smash the like button, hit subscribe, click the bell for notification, and share this video with a few friends who you think can benefit from this type of content. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time.